Day 434 of doing a LeetCode problem every day until I get a job. All right, y'all, we're back again another day, another LeetCode problem where we're doing daily LeetCode problems. And today we have question number 2402, meeting rooms 3. The difficulty level is hard, but don't worry because you already know we're going to keep the solution as simple and easy to understand as possible. But before we get started, y'all, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, y'all. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And if you need any new Apple AirPods, go ahead and check out that link in the description so you can get you some. Now let's see what the question says. You are given an integer n. There are n rooms numbered from 0 to n minus 1. You are given a 2D integer array meetings where meetings of I equals the start of I and end I means that a meeting will be held during the half-closed time interval start I and end I. All the values of start I are unique. Meetings are allocated to rooms in the following manner. Each meeting will take place in the unused rooms with the lowest number. If there are no available rooms, the meetings will be delayed until a room becomes free. The delayed meeting should have the same duration as the original meeting. When a room becomes unused, meetings that have an earlier original start time should be given the room. Return the number of the room that held the most meetings. If there are multiple meetings, return the room with the lowest number. A half-closed interval A and B is an interval between A and B, including A, but not including B. All right, y'all, so that can seem a little bit confusing at first, so let's go ahead and break this question down one step further by taking a look at these examples. So in example 1, we have our input n equals 2. Meetings equals a 2D array of integers, first array being 0 and 10, second array being 1 and 5, third array being 2 and 7, and the last array being 3 and 4. Output is 0. Explanation says, well, let's go through the explanation step by step over here, y'all, just so y'all can get a better visual representation of what's going on. So we have this input. These meetings, before we get started, I want to make sure that everyone understands how these meetings work. So we have 2 rooms, right? The rooms will be represented as, we'll call one room 0, and the next will be room 1 for index 0 and index 1. And then these meetings right here represent the time of each meeting for each room. So first meeting starts at 0, or we could say starts at 0, starts at noon, ends at 10. Then the next meeting starts at 1 and ends at 5. Then the meeting after that starts at 2 and ends at 7. Then the meeting after that starts at 3 and ends at 4. We have to find a way to schedule all of these meetings even though we only have 2 rooms. So to do that, we're going to go through this explanation. Don't worry, I'm going to just set something up over here so you could get a better visual representation of what's going on. So we could call it the first room, we could call it room 0. And then we'll also have a room 1, because remember, we have 2 rooms, right? So these are rooms. We're going to call it 0. We're going to start at 0 and we're going to start at 1, just like for the indexes. So then, or it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We could just call it room 1 and 2. Forget it. We'll just call it 1 and 2. Ain't no need to make it harder than it already is, right? So we have room 1 and we have room 2. Boom. So now at time 0, both rooms are not being used. The first meeting starts in room 0. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, we will call this room 0. Sorry, y'all. Sorry. So this is room 0. This is room 1. We only have 2 rooms. So both rooms are empty. The first meeting starts in room 0. So this is the first meeting right here. And this meeting goes from 0 to 10. So we could just come over here. We'll call this, that's room 0. We'll call this M1 for meeting 1. And this is going to go from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 to 9. To 9 and then to 10. So that's meeting 1 right here from 0 to 10. Then at time 1, only room 1 is not being used. The second meeting starts in room 1. So this is the first meeting, which we already did right here. So the second meeting starts in room 1, right? So this right here is the second meeting. It goes from 1 to 5. So we could call this meeting 2, because this is the second meeting. So meeting 2, and then meeting 2 goes from 1 to 5. So we could just come here, we could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom. So now both meetings, we only have 2 rooms, right? Both meetings are occupied. This room is occupied with meeting 1, and this room is occupied with meeting 1, and this room is occupied with meeting 2. Boom. So then we have at time 2, because the next meeting starts at 2, right? So at time 2, both rooms are being used. The third meeting is delayed. So this meeting wants to start at 2. However, both these rooms are already occupied, right? So this meeting right here is delayed. Then at time 3, both rooms are being used. The fourth meeting is delayed. So as you can see, the fourth meeting starts at time 3 at 3 o'clock, and still these two meetings are still, or excuse me, these two rooms are still being occupied at 3, right? Both of these rooms have meetings going on at 3 right here. So this fourth meeting will be delayed as well. Now, at time 5, meeting in room 1 finishes. The third meeting starts in room 1 for the time of 5 to 10. So this, as you can see, this meeting right here, meeting 2, only goes up to 5. So that means at 5, room 1 becomes available. So we could come right here and we could just say, hold on. This will be room 1. Sorry, we call it, and this will be meeting 3. So meeting 3 is going to start at 5, right? So then meeting 3 is going to start at 5. And so meeting 3 goes from 2 to 7. So that means meeting 3 is still going to be 5 hours, right? So we could come right here. Since it's from 2 to 7, it's still 5 hours. The duration of the meeting isn't going to change. So this will go from 5 to 10 instead of from 2 to 7. So we'll go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Boom. So this is meeting 3. It goes from 5 to 10, right? So come over here. It was originally it was gonna go from 2 to 7, and it got pushed back to 5 to 10. Boom. So now this meeting goes from 5 to 10. Boom. That was this meeting right here. Then it says at time 10, the meetings in both rooms finish. The fourth meeting starts in room 0 for the time period of 10 to 11. So it says right here, each meeting will take place in the unused room with the lowest number. So that's why we're going to start, even though they both end at 10, that's why this next meeting is going to start in room 0, because that's the room with the lowest number. So once again, we'll call this room 0, and this right, say colon, then this will be meeting 4. Then this meeting isn't going to start till 10, and it's going to go till 11. Boom, because it was only from 3 to 4. So it was only 1 hour, right? So once again, we could do the same thing. We say originally it was going to go from 3 to 4, but it got pushed back until 10 to 11. Now, we want to return the number of the room that held the most meetings. If there are multiple rooms, return the room with the lowest number. So that's where this 0 comes from, because once again, remember, it's 2 rooms, but we're starting from room 0 like an index, right? So it's going to go room 0 and 1. And since both of these rooms had the same amount of meetings, they both had 2 meetings. This had meeting 2, and this had meeting 3. This had meeting 1, and this had meeting 4. In the end, they both had 2 meetings. So since they both have 2 meetings, we're going to return the number of the room that held the most meetings. But if there are multiple rooms, we're going to return the room with the lowest number. And in this case, 0 is lower than 1, so we return 0, and that's how we got our output of 0. So just in case that didn't make sense to y'all, let's take a look at example 2. It's only one more example. This time we'll have 3 meeting rooms, so we'll be able to have more meetings, or we'll be able to spread our meetings out a little bit more, I guess. So let's do it like this. Let's start over. Let's get rid of all this right here. Boom, that's room 1. Then we're going to do room 3. Or this is room 2, sorry. But this is the 3rd room. Boom. So now in example 2, we have an input 3, meaning we have 3 rooms. Our meetings is a 2D array of integers. First meeting is from 1 to 20. Second meeting is from 2 to 10. Third meeting is from 3 to 5. Fourth meeting is from 4 to 9. And the last meeting is from 6 to 8. Output is 1 this time. So that means room 1 is going to have the most meetings. Let's look at the explanation so we can see why or how room 1 got the most meetings. So the first thing it says, at time 1, all 3 rooms are not being used, so the first meeting starts in room 0. So as you can see, the first meeting starts at 1, ends at 20. So it's going to start in room 0. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Boom. So that's our first meeting. Then it says at time 2, rooms 1 and 2 are not being used, so the second meeting starts in room 1. So this is the second meeting. It starts at 2, right? So this meeting already has a meeting going on at 2, right here. So we're going to come to room 1, and we're going to start this meeting right here that is going to go from 2 to 10. So we could come right here, and we can go from 2 to 10. So it's going to go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Boom. Then it says right here at time 3, only room 2 is not being used. The third meeting starts in room 2. So this meeting starts at 3, ends at 5. And room 2 is the only meeting that's open, or the only room that is open right now. So we're going to come right here to 3. Then it's going to go 4, 5. Boom. Now, that meeting's over at 5, right? It only goes from 3 to 5. Now we still have these 2 meetings that we need to squeeze in here somehow. So it says at time 4, all 3 rooms are being used. The 4th meeting is delayed. So we have to delay the 4th meeting. Then it says at time 5, the meeting in the second room finishes. The 4th meeting starts in room 2 for the period of 5 to 10. So as you can see, the last meeting doesn't start till 6. So once this room opens up at 5, we can bring the meeting, we can start the 4th meeting immediately after. So hold on, let's just clean this up so you can know that's meeting 1. That's meeting 2. And this is meeting 3. Boom. So now, where we at? We are right here at time 5. Okay, so now we're on the 4th meeting. Time 5 meeting in room 2 finishes. The 4th meeting starts in room 2 and from 5 to 10. So this meeting ends. So we come down here once again, and this will be room 2. This is meeting 4, and this meeting is going to go from 5 to 10. Yeah, 5 to 10. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Boom. And then once again, we could just open up the parentheses so you can see where it was at originally. Originally, it was from 4 to 9. Got pushed back to 5 to 10. Boom. Just like that. Then it says at time 6, all 3 rooms are being used. The 5th meeting is delayed. So once again, at 6, we have room 0 still has meetings, room 1 still has meetings, and room 2 still has meetings. So we have to push back this last meeting that was supposed to start at 6. Then it says at time 10, the meeting in rooms 1 and 2 finished. The 5th meeting starts in room 1 because that's the lowest room number with a time period of 10 to 12. So that means that they both end at 10, right? Room 1, or they both open up at 10, but room 1 has a lower room number, so we're going to use room 1 for meeting 5. Boom. And that is going to go, hold on. And that is going to go from 10 to 12, right? So this was originally going to be from 6 to 8, but it got pushed back to 10 to 12. Boom. Now we've got all the meetings in. We want to return the meeting that held the most rooms. So it says, most meetings. So it says room 0 held 1 meeting, while rooms 1 and 2 each held 2 meetings. So we return room 1. So once again, this meeting only held, room 0 only held 1 meeting. So that's already less than room 1 and room 2, because we want the one with the return the room that held the most meetings. And then we're going to return the room with the lowest number. So both room 1 and room 2 both equally held 2 meetings. But since they're both equally holding 2 meetings, we're going to return room 1, because room 1 is the lowest room number. So that's how our output is 1, y'all. So I hope that made sense to y'all. And now that we understand the question, let's get into the fun part, the actual solution. Y'all, solution is not that difficult to understand. Definitely easier to understand than the question. So let's get into it. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to sort these meetings by their start time to process them in chronological order. So for that, we're just going to come right here, declare a variable called meetings. And we are going to set that equal to, this is going to allow us to mutate these meetings, because we're going to set this equal to meetings dot sorted. Then we're going to open up the brackets. We're going to say $0, square bracket 0. Then we'll say is less than $1, square bracket 0. So what this is going to do is it's going to look at each index in this meeting array, or each array in this 2D meetings array. So this would be, let's say $0 is going to go through each meeting in this index array. And then so when we say $0 square bracket 0, that means we're going to go through each of these arrays, and the square bracket 0 means we're going to look at the index 0 of each of these arrays. Then $1 is going to go to all the next arrays, similar to like I, and then $0 would be I, and then $1 would be I plus 1. It'd be something similar to that. So then $1 is going to do the same thing for all of the other arrays and check the index 0. And it's going to sort each of these arrays by their index 0. Boom. Or by their start times. Now we need to track when each room becomes free. Initially, all rooms are free at time 0. So we come underneath this, declare a variable called end time, and we'll set that equal to an array. Open up the parentheses of 0, ... less than n. Then we're going to come underneath that, and we're going to count how many meetings each room is hosted. So we're going to declare a variable called number of meetings equals array, open up the parentheses, repeating, colon 0, comma, count, colon n. Now, we're going to come underneath this, and we're going to process each meeting one by one. So we're going to say for meeting in meetings, sorry about that. For meeting in meetings, we're going to try to find the first available room that is free before this meeting starts. So we're going to declare a variable called current room. We'll say colon, that's going to be integer, and we'll put a question mark. We're going to open up the brackets, and we're going to say for room in 0 ... less than n, we're going to open up the brackets and we're going to say if end time square bracket room is less than or equal to meeting square bracket 0, we're going to open up the brackets and we're just going to say return room. Now, if no room is free before the meeting starts, we could come right here and we could just say return nil, just like that. Boom. Not done yet. We're getting there though, y'all. Now, if we're going to come right here, we're going to start an if let. So we're going to say if let room equals current room. We're going to open up the brackets. And if we found a free room, we're going to assign the meeting to it. So we're going to say end time square bracket room equals meeting square bracket 1. And that's going to update the room's availability. Then we need to increment its meeting count. So we're going to say, because remember, we need to keep count of how many meetings each room holds. So we're going to say number of meetings square bracket room. We're just going to say plus equals 1, just like that. Then we're going to come right here and we're going to say else if let room equal end time dot first index, open up the parentheses of colon end time dot min. We're going to put the parentheses at the end. Then we're going to, of course, unwrap it with the exclamation point. Then come outside of those and we're going to open up the brackets. And so if no room was free in time, we're going to delay the meeting until the earliest room is free. So we're going to push the meeting to that room's available time by saying end time square bracket room plus equals meeting square bracket 1 minus meeting square bracket 0. Boom. Then we need to count it as a meeting for that room. So we need to increment our number of meetings by saying number of meetings square bracket room plus equals 1. Boom. Now we need to return the index of the room with the most meetings, the lowest index in case of a tie. So for that, we could just come right here and we could say return number of meetings dot first index, open up the parentheses of colon number of meetings dot max, open up the parentheses, put the exclamation point to unwrap it, and put another exclamation point at the end right here. And that should be all she wrote, y'all. Let's go ahead and give this a run. Okay, we got an error. Cannot find room in scope. Oh, sorry, y'all. This should be for room, not for ROM. Now let's give it a run. See if this works this time. And there it is. It's accepted, y'all. So let's go ahead and submit it. Make sure it's still accepted after we submit it. And look at that, y'all. 59 milliseconds beats 60% of users. We could definitely get those numbers up. But right now, we just want to be able to solve the problem that is presented to us. Feel like this is a good solution for that, y'all. So before we leave, make sure you get one more look at the code. This is the top part of the code. Boom. That's the bottom part of the code. And yeah, I hope y'all learned something today. And I hope to see y'all here tomorrow for another day, another LeetCode problem. See y'all then.